Welcome to the Get Back, music work talk in Central Texas, Fridays at 1 p.m. Brought to you by the Austin Federation of Musicians and with the Unemployment Compensation Advisory Committee. The Unemployment Compensation Advisory Committee are members of the Austin Federation of Musicians, Local 433 of the American Federation of Musicians, aka the Musicians Union. Some of us work as contractor 1099 workers, and others work as employee W-2 workers in various aspects of the music industry.
The goal of this session is to share our experiences, including trials and tribulations related to the Texas Workforce Commission, or TWC, with other musicians in the state of Texas to aid in navigating the TWC application process. We are not experts in unemployment assistance. We are musicians.
The information contained herein does not constitute either legal advice or an official pronouncement or a position of the Austin Federation of Musicians, but rather is only the personal opinions of the panelists. The panelists do not give legal advice or make official rulings on agency matters, should not be cited as authorities in any matter before the agency or when dealing with agency staff about a case, and must minimize their involvement with administrative processes. They also do not give legal advice on any other matter, and any information they should give should not be used as a basis for taking any employment-related action. Before taking any employment action that could adversely affect an employee, or before using any sample form or policy you may obtain from this group, you should consult a licensed, private sector, employment law attorney of your choice. All right, welcome to the Get Back for February 18th, 2022. We'll probably have a short session today. Russell and Kaz are both working, which we'd love to hear right now. It's hopeful. We're getting back to the point where good musicians are hard to get a hold of to schedule things, which is good. That's what we want. So anyway, we always talk about the links down at the bottom. That has the links to our local union office, AFM 433, here in Austin, Texas. And it also has some other links about recovery from the COVID pandemic, specifically economic recovery, which is what we need as musicians to continue doing our business in the industry. So we also always start with beverages. I'm doing I suppose that's a large thermos of coffee here again. It's not completely full. It's only about half full. But anyway, we've got a few things on the docket to talk about. And I suppose maybe the first thing is the fact that we're still in stage 5 here in Austin as far as the COVID restrictions and recommendations, but we're just on the cusp. Like, the numbers are there to switch to stage 4, and we're hoping that announcement will come fairly soon. You know, when Austin Public Health is ready to do that. We're looking forward to that, of course, because that just helps people make the decision to go out and see live music easier. We're hoping maybe that'll happen today. We'll have to see, but the numbers seem to be there to move down a stage, so that we're hoping that'll happen soon. Maybe we have larger audiences this weekend. We will see. We'll see, but we'll keep an eye on that as well. But as it currently stands right now, officially at 1:08 p.m. on Friday, February 18th, we're still in stage 5, I think, officially. Let me refresh the page one more time. Yep, stage 5 still, but we're keeping an eye on it. And you should too, of course, if you're working music jobs in this area. So let's go around here to other local stuff. There's an article today in the paper about Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick pledges to end tenure for new hires at Texas public universities. My God. So, it just sort of illustrates the point. Of course, musicians have tenure when they work in orchestras and things like that, and sometimes in Broadway pits and things like that. There's tenure involved, and there's tenure involved when they teach at universities, of course, usually. Yeah, I mean, people will point to problems with certain tenured individuals, but by far, tenure is a very good thing for working people that we want to preserve. And yeah, unfortunately, this particular politician continues to display just wanton disregard for for working people across the board here, and this is just sort of the most recent thing. So it's incredibly important to vote, and I suppose that goes into there's an article about voting here somewhere in the docket. Maybe we should switch to that. Oh, where'd it go? Maybe we don't have one here, but early voting can start this week on Monday. Yes, and if you're a union member in particular, you must vote. I mean, it's incumbent upon you to vote, to participate in the political process. There are I guess I'll put that in the show notes as well. There are endorsements from the Texas AFL-CIO and from the local Central Labor Council to help guide us, because especially what we're voting on this week is the primaries, Democrat or Republican primaries. You can only do one, and you have to declare which side you're voting for. At this point, the labor-friendly candidates are pretty much all on the Democratic side, so you probably are going to wind up voting in the Democratic primary. But if you're voting on the Republican primary, vote for labor-friendly candidates that support working people. No union is ever going to tell you what you have to vote for. It's only required if you're participating in the labor movement that you do vote and vote your conscience and your beliefs as a member of the labor movement. But it's very important to vote. You got to get there. It's very easy to early vote because the lines sometimes are less long, and it also gives you another opportunity. Just in case something goes wrong with your ID, with your registration, with the place that you choose to vote at, could have a long line one time when you go, and it gives you another chance to try to get in there if in case it doesn't work out, which we know is happening a little bit more frequently with the new voting laws in Texas. It is demonstrably more difficult to vote. So, but yeah. Anyway, we'll put those in the show notes. The endorsements from the Texas State AFL-CIO and the Austin Central Labor Council can really help out because there's a lot of candidates especially on the Democratic side. So, yes, and we must vote. We must have a better state government. That supports working people in the state of Texas. It's just gone on too long. So, all right, let's see. What else do we have? We got a hotel downtown that has a music venue in it, sold to a Maryland-based resort company for $246 million. It's interesting, but that's all part of the real estate boom in Austin that's still happening. There's an announcement about a Grammy-winning artist that's going to play Austin's Waterloo Park Amphitheater in July. That's the new amphitheater downtown, so that's interesting. For us, we want to keep our eyes on how much private companies have to do with the use of that venue downtown, and how much local musicians are able to take advantage of that public space. What's supposed to be a public space in our city here, so we should make sure. There's a little bit about our union brother Willie Nelson. Had to cancel a few shows over COVID caution, which of course we want him to be cautious about. He is a very experienced musician, so be careful out there. But it says the Luck reunion at Moody Center is still on. So, not that we're promoting that particular musician, but it's in the news. So, yeah. Gosh, what else here? Yeah. Oh, there's an article about the F1 and the Circuit of the Americas track. They've struck a new deal for the U.S. Grand Prix to race at the track through 2026, another 5 years. That's good for the local economy, and there are usually some music engagements around the U.S. Grand Prix, so that's generally good news. Yeah, we'd like to see Circuit of the Americas become a better concert venue when they want to be a concert venue, of course, as well. Yeah, let's keep that in mind. There's an article about Hayes County hiring an outside manager to run their troubled emergency rental assistance program, and we've covered that on this show quite a bit. The Austin City program, I think, is not restarted, but you can get on a waiting list. And then, yeah, there was in the news several weeks ago now that Hayes County wound up having to give back a whole bunch of money to the federal government because they didn't use it in their rental relief program, which is really a shame, because we know that there are people down there, and especially musicians that live in that county, that need help with the rent because of the pandemic. So we'll put that in there as well. We hope to see some improvements like that, similar to the exemplary program in Harris County and in Houston, where they reformed their city and county programs to work better together. And yeah, we'd really like to see something like that happen, so people can stay in their houses. That's really important. So yeah, let's see, what else have I got here? Talked about that. In the national, really global news this week, you may have seen, we've got an article from the LA Times here, but the company, not even a company, the major media conglomerate, global conglomerate, used to be called Viacom CBS, that also owns Paramount Pictures and several of the old record labels and cable companies and all kinds of things, internet service providers, radio networks, just everything. There are only 4 global media conglomerates that really own almost everything in the media industry. And this is one of them. They renamed themselves to Paramount instead of Viacom CBS. Why did they do that? It's an indication of that their focus is going to be on streaming through their service called Paramount Plus, that they're streaming television and movies and all kinds of things through. It's an indication that their vertical integration, now the top of it is the streaming service, and that concerns us as artists, because artists and musicians have been excluded from a lot of residuals that come from streaming on the basis that it's a new technology, and it's really far from new, and it's the primary means of consumption for a lot of people now, and so it is not acceptable for us to be left out of those negotiations. We need to get together under, as a union, as musicians, and really support those negotiations. And the only representative musicians have in those negotiations is the AFM. So we've got to keep aware of what's going on there as union members. We've got to, if you're not a union member, join the union, because that is the future of media consumption, and we have got to get in there. There is no choice. Musicians have to be included in those residuals, and they are not right now, and we need to be aware of where that is happening. We had a little bit of motion on that over the last fall, where musicians were included in advertiser-supported streaming video. Right? Like similar to like YouTube, where it's free to the consumer with advertisements. But that doesn't include things like Paramount Plus or Netflix, things like that. So we've got to get in there, and organizing together is how we're going to do it. We need to build power, the power of our profession. Again, we haven't really been in this type of situation where we need to get global conglomerates of media to do this kind of thing since the 1940s. When we first won residuals on a lot of the things that we get paid for now. This shift in the business to streaming, it changes a lot of things, and that's one of them. We have to get in on the new agreements, and we have to build power to do that. So join your union, and let's get things changed for the better, using our power together. All right. Well, that's let's see. That's everything on my docket here. Like I said, it would be a short show today, but if you're in the music business, don't give up. We can get through this by sticking together and sharing information, networking together, and working together to win better wages, working conditions, contracts for all of us. That's how we do it. Is use the big power of all of us together. And all right. Well, we will see you next week on the Get Back.